Alright, so what better way to start understanding about mergers and acquisition than to actually look at one of the homegrown brands, which is Zomato and Blinkit. And that is the exact example I'm going to be taking today to explain you the workings of a mergers and acquisition model. I do understand that IPO of Zomato had already happened in the month of July 2021, right? And they raised about 9,375. The deal date, which means when Zomato and Blinkit decided that, okay, Blinkit is saying, okay, I'm okay to get acquired, and Zomato is saying, okay, acquire you, the price of Zomato was 70.76, right? Which is almost of 50% down from the listing price of about 169 when Zomato actually got listed out in 2021. So remember, so if you look at the situation of Zomato, we do understand the fact that Zomato definitely got listed in the stock market, definitely got listed at 169. Many of the investors got a very nice exit, but 1 year down the line, the stock price is obviously not doing that well. But the most awaited question was whether the Blinkit management was underpaid or paid more for all the effort that they've made, because the current valuation of FY25, the Goldman Sachs about 13 billion. To the next part, which I said is going to be about actually solving the template. So if you want to access the template, the link is actually given in the description in understanding how that growth is happening. Now let's look at the gross profit, which obviously requires us to multiply the revenue, which is 2801, with the gross profit margin, which we have actually estimated basis the industry and the values. So which is given as 26% for FY23. And if you want, you could link the gross profit margins as well, just the percentage for your reference sake. Then we've got fulfillment and delivery, which is, we've taken it as 26%. And what we're going to do is we're going to just do the entire calculation all at once only for all the cells, which would save a lot of time. So we multiply your revenue with the fulfillment and delivery percentage, which comes out to be somewhere around 26%, right? Now, marketing, again, remember, all of these values are calculated as a percentage of revenue, because that is called as common size analysis, which is done for operational cost, right? So we multiply that with the marketing percentage, which is 8%, and then we multiply it with G&A, which is given as 4% of the revenue, right? So we multiply that with revenue. So that gives us all the direct, indirect costs, right? Which means fulfillment and delivery, marketing, and G&A. Now, what we could do is we could just calculate the EBITDA, which would be your gross profit minus sum of all of these expenses, which means fulfillment, marketing, and G&A. So that gives us about 336 negative, of course, expected, because Blinkit was making a loss any which ways, even before the deal actually happened. Now, if you look at the EBITDA margin, obviously it is negative. So divided by the revenue, which gives us a negative 12% of EBITDA margin. Now we've taken a flat rate for depreciation and amortization, which is taken as 3%. So we're going to multiply this 3% with the revenue, and that should give us the EBIT. So we're going to take the EBITDA minus the D&A. So that gives us EBIT of 420, right? Now what we'll do is, since I was saying that we'll do it for one, entire column first, and then just copy it across all the cells, so that we don't have to keep on doing this again and again, right? So while building any template, whether it is an M&A template also, we have to obviously keep in mind that, to save time, so that you can design the template in a way that helps you copy the formulas across cells, right? Now let's do the same value for calculation for Zomato, right? Now Zomato, your initial revenue for FY22 assumptions is given in the assumption sheet, which is 4192. So we can clearly see it's about almost 2 or 3 times of Blinkit, right? Now let's look at the revenue growth assumptions which we've taken for Zomato, which is written out here below at cell 34, and let's copy it across and let's get the revenue growth value, right? So there you go. And just gonna zoom a little bit so that you can see it properly. So that's your basically your revenue for all the years. And then we multiply, we first get the gross profit margin from the assumption sheet. So I'm going to go a little faster now, so that, because it's the same calculation as before for Blinkit. So that's going to be 32% for gross margin. And let's copy it for all the years, multiply this with the revenue. So that gives us our gross profit of all the three values. Now let's go to fulfillment and delivery. So we're just going to multiply that revenue with the percentages which are given in the assumption sheet, which is, I suppose, 38%. Then the same marketing value multiplied by your marketing percentage, which is taken as 8%. And in fact, what we can do is we could just put a $sign on the row, and then the values would come automatically for even the G&A, right? And then let's copy this and paste it across to the right. Now, if we look at EBITDA calculations out here, so the EBITDA calculations out here would be your gross profit minus your all the indirect expenses. So if we just take all these values, we get an EBITDA. So obviously, even Zomato is not really in a very amazing situation. They're still making a loss. And the EBITDA margins out here would be this divided by the revenue, which is about negative 18%, right? Now, D&A, we have taken flat, just like Blinkit. Multiply this by the flat rate of 4%, right? So that gives us about 285, which means our EBITDA drops even further to 1568 CR, right? Now we have slight bit of interest income, which we can calculate from the assumption sheet by multiplying whatever the cash balances Zomato actually has. So they have about a cash balance of 10,500 for the previous year, 12,000, and then the interest rate that we're taking is actually 5.56 and 6%, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to just multiply the previous year's cash balance and multiply with the interest rate for this year. So that gives us the interest income. Now, if I take EBIT and add the interest income, so that slightly reduces my losses to 908 CR. And then we took the if function of putting greater than 0, then we calculate the tax rate of 25%, else it is 0. So these are just generic financial modeling, skills which you might want to have before, you can even attempt this model, right? So you need to be good with basic financial modeling, whether or not, whatever happens with AI or not with AI, because I need to have the understanding to tell AI what to do, right? Anyway, let's get the shares outstanding for Zomato, and the shares outstanding values are given out here, 870, right? And that should give us the EPS, which is 908 divided by your number of shares, right? Now, this will be an interesting value to look at, because we will also try to see whether after acquiring of Blinkit, whether this actually made sense in terms of increasing the EPS. Because remember, the shareholders have willingly agreed to be bought in an all stock investment, which means from tomorrow Blinkit is not going to exist, which means that Zomato investors would be expecting that it has actually eventually affected the earnings, right? So let's go now to the M&A model. So the M&A model is basically, now we're going to combine both of them and try to see what exactly happens, right? So if we look at FY23, and remember, I'm not doing FY22 because it's an existing data, it really doesn't matter. So let's just link the existing Zomato's revenue, which is 7126. Let's get the Blinkit projected revenue of 2801. And then now, this is a part of synergies, right? Because remember, if Zomato is actually acquiring Blinkit, there is going to be a lot of cost which might be duplicated cost. For example, there might be a marketing duplicate cost. There might, or maybe not marketing cost might be duplicated, but maybe the team which is running the marketing team might be duplicated. So there might be some revenue and cost synergies which are going to happen, right? So for that, we're going to look at the assumptions and what synergies have I actually taken. So if you see, we have these synergies given as 80 to 380. Now, what does it mean? So what it actually means is that I might be able to use the data of Blinkit customers to sell Zomato, and use Zomato customers to cross-sell to Blinkit. So that is basically an assumption that we're taking in terms of revenue synergies. So let's just link the value of revenue synergies for each of these years, and which should give us the combined value of revenue after the acquisition has taken place. Now we can just copy this and paste it across all the 3 years. So we've got everything here. Now let's look at Zomato standalone EBITDA, which we had calculated in the previous section, which was 1283. Let's get Blinkit's EBITDA as well, which we had calculated, which is negative 336. But now let's get, since we're not dealing with EBITDA, so we're going to get the cost synergies. Cost synergies is what I was talking about in terms of there will be some benefits. There might be some things which might be duplicated, which might not be actually required to be done again, right? So let's look at the cost synergy values out here. So if you come to the synergy sections, you'll see there's a total synergy of 120, 280 and 450, right? And obviously when you are doing such acquisition, it leads to some integration costs. So integration cost is a one-time cost, which we have assumed as 150 for the first year and 60 for the next year, which means now we're going to get the EBITDA, and I'm just going to put this as negative so that we don't have to change the signs here, right? So synergies are going to be positive, costs are going to be negative. So we just add this together. So we get your combined EBITDA as 1649, and the combined EBITDA margin is going to be 1649 by the combined revenue itself. So now let's copy this across 3 years. So there you go. So now obviously see FY23 does tend to take a hit because nothing has really changed in terms of the acquisition. The acquisition is just taking place, and there are a lot of costs which have been incurred. But as per the model, we see that there might be a possibility that some improvements might be expected for FY 2024 and 25. Now let's go to the depreciation and amortization part. So combined DA, we will have to add up both the DA values, depreciation and amortization for both the years for Zomato and Blinkit. So I'm going to add it together, which is going to give us 369. And I'm going to get the combined EBIT as well. So for interest and tax for Blinkit plus Zomato. So there you go, EBIT, right? There you go. And then the interest income. Interest income is only in case of Zomato only, because any which ways, if Blinkit was into cash burn situation, so it really does not have much cash. So this is going to give us the final combined PBT, right? So if you had an EBITDA of 1649 and then you deduct the depreciation further, that gives you a combined EBIT of 1988. And if you add this, then you have a combined PBT, which gives you 1328. And the formula remains same. If the profit before tax is greater than 0, then we calculate tax. Else we don't calculate tax. We're going to keep it at 25%, 0. Right? And that's going to give us the combined PAT of 1328, right? So let's again copy this all and paste it towards the right. There you go. Now, Zomato shares pre-deal is obviously 870, if you remember, 870 shares. And new shares which are issued to Blinkit, we remember that it is about around 60 crores of shares which are given. So we can go to the deal structure. We see Zomato shares which are actually issued, which is about 62.85, right? So total now shares become 933, which means the combined EPS post deal is going to be PAT divided by the total common shares. And if we just look at Zomato standalone, so that was somewhere around negative 1.04. So in the first year post acquisition, looks like things have become even worse as per the projection model, right? Now let's look what happens if the further calculations run and further business runs for even second year, third year. So in the second year, you definitely see, the combined EPS has slightly improved than the standalone. So the investors of Zomato slightly might benefit, but maybe the major benefits actually comes post FY25, right? So the EPS change is, what is accretion? Dilution is basically trying to find out what is the change, right? So if you see my combined EPS minus my old EPS and divided by the absolute, if I look at the old EPS, then what is the actual change? So we see in the first year, 36% dilution of the EPS has happened post the acquisition, right? Now, if we look at further improvement, then we see that actual benefit comes at the third year, which is about 25.7%, accretion because of the acquisition. Real benefit actually coming after the second year onwards, right? Now we come to, we've already calculated, okay, so we need to get these synergies values. I think we've already done this synergies. What I've done is actually taken the synergy values directly. I shouldn't have done that, but I've actually taken in the M&A model directly. But let's do one thing for sure. What we should do is we should get the total synergy values because we want to find out the present value of it, right? So we're going to quickly take the values for this, right? So let's take the total synergies, which we are going to get. So let's take the M&A model and let's look at the revenue synergies, right? Plus the cost synergies, plus the integration costs, right? So this is basically nothing but the actual synergies that we're getting, and then we use a discount rate to find out what is the present value of these synergies that we are actually getting. So let's go and see what discount rate we've actually assumed. In this case, we have taken a 14% discount rate. Now let's use the NPV formula to find out the present value of these future cash flows of synergy. So that comes out to somewhere around 927 crores. What we're basically trying to say is that due to final results of the model is the fact that I've just calculated certain values to see what is the final valuations that we've actually paid, right? So if we see the implied EV, right, enterprise value that basically Zomato paid was about 4,447 crores. And I have divided it across with the revenue of Blinkit for FY22, which is somewhere around 1,500, and it's given in the assumption sheet. And the same I've compared it against FY24 and also done the same for NPV of synergies, basically all the synergies which we got by acquiring this company, and I found a present value of 927, and then try to get an adjusted EV, which is about 3,520, which means that all the costs which we have incurred about 927, reduce it from the purchase price to see at an adjusted level how much are we actually paying. So this is what looks like an M&A model in terms of the negotiation part, whether this makes sense or not makes sense. Now, a full-scale industry model might be much more detailed because there will be much more line items which we might not even have access to the data, because remember, Blinkit is a private company, so we will not have access to that kind of a data at that stage, right? So we see that the actual performance for FY24 was obviously deflated. Now, the reason why this actually happened is not because we projected it wrong, but the main issue was that the expansion, the focus was more on expansion. So they went from 400 stores at Blinkit to about 1,200 stores at FY26. And that's why the next slide is going to make more sense, right? If you look at the next slides, this is the summary, right? So in FY25, the revenue, total revenue which was billed was 5,206 crores, which means when we started off with Blinkit at the start, this was somewhere around 1,400 crores. So we have actually built the market and we've actually captured the market, and that capturing has almost been 45%. So Blinkit at the moment is one of the largest players in the delivery business, right? But the most awaited question was whether the Blinkit management was underpaid or paid more for all the effort that they've made, because the current valuation of FY25 the Goldman Sachs about 13 billion, so which is 3x of the initial, more than 3x actually, for the valuation that is actually currently been paid, right? And remember, for Zomato, it was a cheap deal because they paid all in stock for a depressed stocks. The stock price had already dropped from somewhere around 169 to about 76. So then it was a cheap deal, right? So what are the lessons that we can take, right? So actually coming to the end of the slide is the fact that most of these acquisitions which company might do might make sense in papers, right? There was no problem with the acquisition intent and there was no problem with the acquisition logic, but maybe whether this actually makes sense in terms of expansion is something that I'll leave it to you, because I can see there was a huge expansion from 400 to 1,300, but whether that's actually made it profitable or not is something that we want to be and leave that question to you. And if you have any thoughts on that, please put it in the comment box. I'll be happy to